surviving after crash landing in another world. The third metallic clang died away. The black beast did not stop. Its broad, low-slung body climbed onto the rocky ledge. Its foreclaws scraped against the stone with a hard clatter. The shell covering its head and back left no gap for a blade to pierce. Minjun backed away, gripping his knife. His back struck the rock wall. There was only one way down, and the beast was blocking it. The small flame flickered. The beast's head moved with it. When Minjun took a step sideways, its head turned toward him instead. The fire and the man. It was watching both. Minjun grabbed the dry fibers piled beside the fire. He balled them into a wad the size of his palm and held one end to the flame. As soon as it caught fire, the beast abruptly sped up.
Damn it.
Holding the burning fibers, Minjun pressed himself against the edge of the rocky ledge. Heat seared all the way to his fingers. He couldn't hold it much longer. As he glanced below, something red caught his eye. Behind the beast and to its left, something like red grass clung to a crack in the rock. Its tips, spread wide only moments ago, were curling inward. Hum. A low vibration traveled up through the ground beneath his feet. Minjun remembered the heat before his death, the feeling of his lungs burning, and his back cooking came rushing back. His hand threatened to freeze. He gritted his teeth. This time was different. He wasn't trapped inside. He could see where it was going to erupt. Minjun swept every remaining ember into the dry fibers. The ball of fire grew larger. The black beast raised a foreleg. Minjun hurled the fireball with all his strength, sending it past the crack in the rock. It sailed over the beast's head and landed beside the red growth. The beast immediately changed direction. Its head swung away from Minjun and toward the hotter blaze. It climbed down from the ledge and stamped the fireball beneath one forepaw. Minjun ran too. He charged down the same slope and brushed past the beast's rear. His left knee nearly buckled, but he didn't stop. Hum. The sound grew louder. Air rushed into the crack. Minjun threw himself behind a thick root nearby. Whoop! White steam exploded outward. The beast let out a harsh roar. Scalding steam engulfed its black back, and hot droplets splashed across Minjun's right arm.
Gah.
Clutching his arm, he tumbled down the slope. Wet dirt filled his mouth and worked its way inside his clothes. After rolling several times, he caught hold of a root and finally stopped. His arm was bright red, but he could still move it. The slope above was filled with white steam. The beast was nowhere in sight. Minjun got to his feet. The embers were gone with the fibers he had thrown. He had neither the dry fibers to start another fire with the battery, nor the time to do it. Clang. Another metallic sound rang out in the darkness. Clang. Clang. It was close. Minjun limped toward the sound. It also happened to lead away from the beast. After passing between stalks coated in blue powder, he came upon a low stone wall. Half of it had collapsed, and blackened stones lay piled inside. Along one side of the floor ran a shallow channel where water had once flowed. People had stayed here. 3 more metallic clangs rang out from beneath the floor inside. Clang, clang, clang.
Is someone there?
Minjun called softly. For a moment, everything went quiet.
Over here.
A voice came from beneath the floor.
I'm down here, don't step in the middle.
Minjun stopped mid-step. The shelter had been built over a square storage pit. Gray stone ledges remained along all 4 sides at the top, while only the opening in the middle was covered with black, rotting wood. The bottom of the pit lay a full person's height below the ledges. A faint blue glow showed through the gaps in the wood. Minjun approached, stepping only on the gray stone ledge.
Where are you?
By the right wall. Don't step on the black floor in the middle.
Minjun tapped the black floor with the handle of his knife. A hollow sound came from below. Keeping his feet planted on the gray stone, he peered down through a gap. A young woman lay below, covered in dust and blue powder. She could move her upper body, but a broad stone pinned her right leg. She held a short piece of metal in one hand. She must have been using it to strike a ring set into the wall.
Can you feel your leg?
I can move my toes, but I can't lift the rock.
What's your name?
Soul, what about you?
Kim Minjun.
The gap leading into the pit was too narrow for even one person to squeeze through. He could get in by tearing up the floor in the middle, but the entire thing might collapse.
Are you alone?
I am now.
It was a curt answer. Minjun didn't ask anything else. As he knelt on the gray stone, Sol spoke urgently.
Wipe off the powder stuck to anything wet first. Your sleeve and knee are glowing.
Minjun looked at his arm and leg. Blue powder clung to his sweat and blood, glowing brightly. He scrubbed hard at his sleeve and knee with the dry inside of his windbreaker. The blue glow faded, but blood began seeping from the wound on his knee again.
What's wrong with it?
That black thing follows light and heat. It goes after fire too. One of them was prowling around here.
The back of Minjun's neck stiffened. He hadn't confirmed that the beast he'd shaken off was dead. Once the fire went out, It could start hunting for a warm human again. There was no way to erase the trail he had left on his way here. If he took off his pants, he would lose the only protection his knee had. All he could do now was wipe away the powder and hurry with the rescue.
How long will it take to free your leg?
See the gap under the rock pinning me? We can wedge a long piece of wood under it and lever it up.
Minjun dragged over a long piece of wood as thick as his forearm from beside the collapsed wall. He wedged one end beneath the rock and used the gray stone at the edge of the pit as a fulcrum.
I'll push down on this end.
If you lift it too high, the floor in the middle will collapse. When I count to 3, raise it just a little.
Saul gripped the rim of the pit with both hands. Minjun put his weight on the end of the long piece of wood. His left knee trembled.
1, 2, 3.
He pushed down on the wood. The stone pinning Sol's leg rose slightly. Twisting her body, Sol pulled at her leg.
More.
The middle is shifting.
Just a little more.
Keeping his feet planted on the gray stone, Minjun pressed harder on the wood. Kwararak. The black floor where it met the rim of the pit caved in. The jolt made Minjun's backpack slip from his shoulder. The cloth he had used to tie the broken strap came undone, and his water bottle popped out. The bottle rolled across the gray stone toward the pit. At that moment, Sol's leg came free from under the rock. At the same time, the stone ledge she was holding broke apart. Her body began to fall back toward the bottom of the pit, and the raised rock tipped in the same direction.
Grab me.
Minjun's right hand was pressing down on the lever. In front of his left, he saw both the water bottle rolling into the pit and Sol's outstretched hand. Minjun grabbed Sol's wrist. The water bottle fell to the bottom of the pit. Its cap flew off, and the water spilled between the stones. Minjun released the lever and pulled Sol up with both hands. Sol pushed off the wall with her free foot as she climbed. They collapsed face down on the gray stone at the edge. Minjun gasped for breath. His throat was parched, but the water was gone. There wasn't even time to regret it. Scrape. The sound of something dragging across the ground came from the distance. Sol immediately raised her head.
It's here.
They both scrambled to their feet. The moment Sol put weight on her right foot, she staggered. Minjun caught her by the shoulder.
Where's the exit?
There's a hole in the opposite wall. We only need to pull out 2 planks.
Sol pointed toward the side opposite the entrance the beast would come through. 2 wide planks, one above the other, blocked a hole at chest height. Minjun propped Sol against the rear wall. The bottom of the upper plank was wedged between the stones and wouldn't move.
Step only on the gray stones.
Sol struck the safe stones around the edge of the pit with her piece of metal. Clang. Minjun moved his feet by following the sound. He pulled away the stone beneath the plank, then yanked on the upper board. The first plank toppled, opening a narrow gap. Blackback appeared at the entrance. Steam was still rising from the beast's shell. It limped on one foreleg, but it hadn't slowed down. As blood spread across Minjun's knee, the spores that remained there glowed blue again. The beast's head turned toward the light.
Get out first.
We need to remove the lower plank too. I can't get through that gap with this leg.
Sol wedged the piece of metal beneath the lower plank. Minjun pulled from above while Sol pushed from below. The beast entered the shelter and stepped onto the black floor in the middle. The rotting wood broke all at once. The beast plunged straight into the front of the storage pit. It thrashed on the floor, rolling over as it tried to rise.
It fell in.
In the meantime, the 2 of them pulled out the lower plank. The opening in the rear wall became wide enough for a person to escape through. The beast rose inside the pit and rammed into the wood supporting the floor. The rear stone ledge beneath Minjun and Sol tilted inward. Soranch. As he fell, Minjun grabbed Sol's arm. They crashed onto the floor at the rear of the pit. At the front of the same pit, the beast was already getting to its feet.
Can you move?
Yes, just give me a second.
Minjun pulled Sol to her feet by the arm. The opening they had just cleared was now above their heads. There was no way to climb up with their hands alone. The long piece of wood they had used as a lever had fallen beside them. Minjun raised it and propped one end against the rear opening.
Hold the bottom. I'll climb up it.
Sol gripped the base of the wood with both hands. Before Minjun could lower the angle, the beast crouched at the front of the pit. Minjun pushed Sol behind him and flicked open his knife. He knew he couldn't win. Even so, he couldn't just stand there. The beast charged. Minjun dodged sideways and stabbed the inside of its foreleg. The tip sank into a soft spot, but not deeply enough. The beast twisted its body, hurling Minjun into the wall. The knife flew from his hand. Sol drove the piece of metal into the beast's hind leg.
Over here.
The beast turned toward Sol.
No.
Minjun grabbed onto its black back. His fingers slipped. The beast swept out a forepaw, knocking Sol to the floor. Minjun crawled over to Sol. Her hand caught his sleeve, but her grip was rapidly weakening. Even in that brief moment, Minjun looked toward the exit. If they had only been a little faster. He had sacrificed the water to grab Sol. Together, they had cleared the planks from the rear wall. And still they hadn't survived. The black forepaw rose again. Minjun threw himself over Sol. A massive impact struck his back, his breath cut off. Beyond the searing pain, he felt Sol's hand slip from his sleeve. A red flash split his vision. A stretch of nothingness passed. Minjun pitched forward. His palm struck cold stone. He sucked in a breath and raised his head. The collapsed low wall. The blackened stones. The water channel in the floor. This wasn't where he had fallen into the forest.
What the hell?
Minjun hurriedly felt his back. There was no wound from the beast's attack. But the mild burn on his right arm and the injury to his left knee were still there. His body had returned to the state it had been in just before he heard the second signal outside the shelter. He opened his backpack. Half a bottle of water was inside. It was the water he had sacrificed moments ago to grab Sol's hand. Clang. A metallic sound rang out beneath the floor. Clang. Clang. Minjun bit his lip. This time the point he returned to had changed. He had no way of knowing whether he would return here next time or be sent back to the forest. Nor could he die just to find out. Minjun had to assume he wouldn't get another chance to prepare in the forest and save Sol, with only what he had now. Sol's voice came from beneath the floor.
Is someone there?
Before he could answer, the beast's claws scraped against the rock behind him.